And appreciate you joining us here on CNBC TV 18. The Prime Minister has made several big-ticket announcements for startups, from fiscal incentives to funding by the government, but clarity will depend on the fine print as it is revealed by way of the notification, and then we will be able to assess the real impact. But on the face of it, do you really believe that the announcements that have been made by the government so far are meaningful?
Shireen, to me, the biggest takeaway and most significant event has been the Prime Minister, Finance Minister, Commerce Minister, all the secretaries coming on stage and saying unequivocally, we are going to support you, we want you to stay here, we want to make life easier for you, and we will work with you to make it happen. I think that's extremely significant because we have not had such a galaxy of people who decide matters in India come on a common stage, meet people and announce that. I think that's fantastic. They understand what startups can do for India, how they can transform for India and become the largest source of white-collar jobs over the next 10 years. I think that's very good. Yes, they made many announcements. Some of them we have to wait and see what the notifications are. And usually when grand announcements are made, the notifications take away much of what has been said. So I think we need to have some patience to work on it. But the good news is the government has been in engagement with the industry. We have met them several times and they've been very open and they asked us to give suggestions. So we'll wait for some time and see. We probably have seen only 60% of what we asked being done. Other 40% have not been addressed. They have the checklist with them because they've got a stay in India checklist. And I think it'll take some time. We'll engage with them. But overall, I think, Shireen, you will agree it's a very positive thing. You're witness to the energy. And I think it's a fantastic event.
Yes, I will agree with you on that, Mohan. But let me ask you about specifics now. Let me start by asking you about the definition of a startup as has been articulated by the government. This is my fear, that we will end up tying ourselves in all kinds of knots because of this definition. Who is innovative? Who's not innovative? Who decides what's innovative, what's not innovative? Would you agree with that?
So we have tied ourselves in knots because I read the definition. It's a very unhappy compromise because the government is apprehensive that all kind of companies will come. You know that there are a set of people in this country who manufacture companies and come and misuse things. They're scared that will be done because all the departments have started not agreeing unless there's a robust mechanism to give the benefits. So they come with the definition. It's an unhappy compromise. There will be a board, interministerial board or something like that, which is going to define what is innovation. And for that, you need a certification. But I think, we must give them some time to settle down and ease it out because they're new to the game and they'll find out. Every year, if you have 5,000 or 6,000 startups, small companies coming, I think it's going to be a lot of work for the interministerial board. But I think, we know it is unhappy, so let's wait and give them some time.
Okay, it's an unhappy compromise, but give the government some time. But Mohan, specifically on the proposed tax exemptions, again, we will have to wait for clarity because these will be part of the budget notification when the finance minister reveals or unveils the budget. But none of the announcements on the face of it, whether it was on capital gains tax or income tax exemptions, look to be that meaningful, that significant. Would you agree?
Well, they're not very meaningful because the capital gains does not go the distance that is wanted. What we wanted was, please treat the capital gains on exits of startups in the same manner you treat any sale of stock in the capital markets after 1 year. In the capital markets, you have 1 year, you pay STT. In the startup, maybe 3 to 5 years. If you exit after 3 years, which is long term, then you don't pay any capital gains, you pay STT. That will make it very simple. And the exits could be by angels, exits could be by funds registered by SEBI. So you restrict it and you have a class of people. And for angels, you could come with a definition and some kind of registration, and that will work. I think that's the right way to do it. Right now, saying that you can invest in a fund of funds and you will get some kind of exemption if you do in MSME. I mean, these don't go the distance. These are very small points. And as for the tax holiday, 3 years, now they clarified 3 out of 5 years. Most startups won't make profit in the first 3 years. Neither in the 5 years they could make profit because they're spending for growth. So I think it'll have a little impact. But the bigger thing is, if you exempt them for 3 to 5 years, you go away from the harassment of the tax authorities. Please remember, smaller companies get harassed very much by tax authorities, calling them for assessment, giving them notices. So something like this will go to mitigate this harassment. Even though we have the CPC, we have much, risk-based assessment and all that, still they will go after them. One important issue for which there's no clarification is valuation above fair market value or whatever they define for angels. They said it will be given for venture capital and they'll be given for incubators, but we want it for angels. At the start of the startup, is the angels who provide finance, and they have to value. Now, we don't want the taxman to come and say, this is not the value, I'm going to tax it, and I think that has to be clarified.
Okay, Mohan, since you're talking about the tax man, you know, a lot of promises being made by the government, but let's really look at what's happening on the ground. Many of the startups who are being celebrated on the Startup India stage with the Prime Minister are under the scanner of the Enforcement Directorate because of the continued ambiguity over FDI and e-commerce. There have been months and months of interministerial consultations, and yet we've actually seen no conclusion. So isn't there a big gap between talk and reality on the ground, and the need of the hour really is to bridge that?
I totally agree with you, Shirin, because the entire e-commerce has been an exercise in regulatory futility because they're not given a proper definition. There's a lobby at work of small traders who don't want these people. I think that what the government is doing is to have a holding on action till there's a transformation. E-commerce becomes so big that the opposition should disappear. So I think that's the only thing that can possibly happen. ED is investigating. They're trying to find out what is wrong. I hope it all dies down. But I think it's time the government took a stand and said, as far as marketplaces are concerned, anybody can set up a marketplace because it's got nothing to do with e-retail. And as far as retail is concerned, have a small list to protect small traders. The rest of it, I think, just open up. Because you've got such a variety of e-commerce marketplaces today, linking up small retail, linking up hyper-local, all kind of stuffs have come. And the government is unaware of the kind of companies that have come. I think I would request Mr. Amitabh Kant to call everybody, sit down and look at all the items there. In a month, clarify, this is yes, this is no. At least reduce the uncertainty to maybe 20-30% and eliminate it after a few months.
All right, Mohan, before I let you go, let me ask you, and this is, of course, the big buzz. Are we seeing another bubble? Are we going to see a significant shakeout, a significant correction? What does the year ahead look like? Are we likely to see a big shakeout in the startup ecosystem?
Well, one thing is sure, investors are getting more discerning. They're asking questions like, do you have cash flows? Are you viable? They never ask this question. They're flinging money. So it's going to get tough to get money. And the message going out to startups is, guys, focus on the fundamentals of business. Don't throw up money. There is no big daddy funding you. Even Masa may not fund you that kind of money that's required. So be very careful. And we're going to see many, many smaller companies shut down. We're going to see some people get laid off. That's part of the game. We've been to the last 5 years of a hyper-local activity. The next 2 years are going to be a year of consolidation. Money will come in. The money will be more discerning, and people are going to understand that they've got to have real businesses. Everything is not going to be fling and spend. It's not going to happen that way. They're going to cut costs, tighten the belts, work harder, and do it happen. But there's not going to be a collapse. There's not going to be a disaster. I think there's going to be more discernment, and I think overall, the number of startups will be coming on, more bootstrapping. They'll work with very much less, but innovation will go on. It is taken off, but funding is going to be a constraint.
All right, Mohan, we'll have to leave